In my experience, pain and suffering have been two separate things. When we feel pain and then identify with that pain, we suffer. Watch this video. So I haven't been feeling well the last day or two. I guess there's something going around. I've kind of got a little of it. And so I'm forced to surrender, to not do much, to take care of myself, to stay in and relax. And I kind of love those times because there's nothing that can really distract me from really just being with me and taking care of myself. And in those moments, I love to use that opportunity to go deeper. And as you know, I do this often with my videos, but really tune into my own awarenesses about things. And I usually use this situation I'm in to get some insight. And so today I was thinking about pain and suffering because I'm in a little bit of pain. You know, I've been coughing up a lot, and sounds gross, but true. And I was thinking about how one of the biggest sort of freedoms came in my life when I stopped identifying with my pain. I stopped suffering. When I realized that I could have pain, but it really didn't mean anything about me, and it really didn't become my identity. When we identify with our emotional pain or our mental pain, we have a false sense of self, an almost fractured sense of self. And many of us who grew up with a challenging childhood, a divorced family, felt misunderstood. You know, you guys know my story. Totally misunderstood, felt like they had a difficult time growing up. A lot of us have a fractured sense of identity, a fractured sense of self, not a strong, secure sense of who we are because of our surroundings, because of those kinds of things and our experience with that. However, those of us who did grow up like that have a huge opportunity to go deeper into things because we are suffering and our superficial surroundings weren't so amazing. So we get to actually use that as an opportunity to take our pain into our purpose a little more than some people who may have had it easy. So it's not a negative thing in my experience. Yes, I've suffered a lot and felt a lot of sadness in my life, but it's also brought me to some incredible contemplation and insight. So you know what? The brighter the light, the darker the shadow. It's true. So today, on the subject of pain, I want to really talk about identification and how most of us in this society, in this world, have some issues with our identification, whether we came from a negative situation or not. The way that our society is set up is as if we've given our power to an authority outside of us, and our identity, whether it be negative or positive, is still causing us some suffering. And this is what I mean. For me, growing up as a young girl who had a difficult time and feeling like my identity was uncertain in a negative way, I also then went into an industry, the fashion entertainment industry, where I had some really amazing identification, where I got a lot of attention and I was accepted in certain ways. But both identifications made me feel very similar, which was limited, insecure, and uncertain. Because at any moment when you attach who you are, your identity, to someone or something outside of yourself, to a mental image or an emotional experience, you are not in your true self. It kept me searching deeper and deeper and deeper for who I truly was, something that would take away my sense of self-doubt and take away my sense of uncertain identity and give me something solid to hold on to that was always there no matter what. And so this transition doesn't happen overnight, but what does happen is as you start to realize that your identity largely has been attached to a society or another person's opinion or an image or an ideal, you start to wake up to the reality that God or the universe did not give these identifications to you. Society, a person, an authority, a world did. And when you think about that, and you think about how kind of wacky that is when you really think about it, and you really start to go into the reality of meditation, yoga, these practices that bring you into a higher understanding, an expanded perception, you start to question things. At least I did. And I started to realize more and more that the things I was identifying with that were causing me suffering weren't even my real identity. They weren't given to me by God. They were given to me by a bunch of people that created a bunch of rules, that created a bunch of standards and measures, that wanted you then to stay safe within these measures. And what happens in our society is we're not taught how to tune inward and find ourselves and expand and explore and express ourselves. We're actually taught to look outside of ourselves and learn these rules and learn these standards. And so those of us who grew up with a warrior spirit that fought for this inner feeling, this inner awareness that maybe never went away but wasn't being confirmed, start to awaken at a rapid pace because we start to follow that flow into the know of who we truly are as a soul having a human experience. So if you're one of these people right now that's battling a bad body image or a self-image that hurts, that doesn't feel good, that doesn't make you feel good about yourself, I encourage you to challenge that. Challenge where that came from. A lot of us protect the people that gave us those identifications and identities and images because we had to survive when we were younger, but now we're older and we start to realize that what I really need to survive is a healthy sense of self. And so I challenge you to look into that identification that may be causing you some suffering and see if you can upgrade that. See if you can see how there might have been misinterpretations by the people that gave it to you within their own selves, and start to shed some of the negative self-talk, the negative self-concept, and start to welcome in a broader perspective of who you are. The best way to start doing this is to notice the things that cause you this suffering. Notice the words and the things that you see and relate to on a day-to-day basis. Notice the things that you wish you could relate to. That's untapped power within you. And start to notice, in my experience, the awareness that's actually doing the noticing. For me, I, every day in every way, remind myself and continue practicing that I'm the awareness. I'm not the emotion. I'm not the thoughts. I'm the awareness. And the more I do that, the more aware I become. So I want to encourage you guys to do that today because you will start to self-heal. You will start to remember who you truly are, and you will start to have true self for your health. So you guys, I hope you have an amazing week. Check the links below, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.